good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of the Kiwanis Connects, coming to you from all over the doggone country, quite frankly. I'm in West Virginia. No, I'm not in West Virginia. I'm west of Virginia. No, I'm in Virginia Beach. I just dried out from being away. I'm dealing with sprinklers. Anyway, of course, we got media pass. Governor Val is out there in California, looking sharp and pretty as always. And joining us, she is a past governor of the Carolina District of Kiwanis here on the East Coast, Miss Mary Winfrey, not related to Oprah, or are you?
Somewhere along the line, she may be. So, Mary, are you related to Oprah?
I am not related to Oprah.
At least that you know of. We got to get you one of them.
Yeah, we got to get you like 6 degrees of relationship. So
exactly. Hey, we want to welcome everybody. That's right. It is October 4th. Happy CB Day, everybody. For everybody, remember CB's good buddy. That's right. 10, 10, 10, 8 on the side with them Smokies running down the road there. Anyway, I just kind of channeled my Burt Reynolds. Anyway, if you're watching us on Facebook, you could tell I've missed being on the show last week.
I can tell.
20 minutes in Florida just wasn't enough for me, Val, so I'm back in full strength. If you're watching us on Facebook, thank you very much. Of course, right here on the Kiwanis Connects page, as well as the WWDBTV Las Vegas page. Now, if you like YouTube, that's okay. We still love you. You can go there as well on the Kiwanis Connects page or the WWDBTV YouTube channel. You can write your comments. John magically pulls them up for us to see. And then at about 24:36 or whenever a number of hours John decides to get around to it, if you go to Roku, the great streaming service there, you just got to download WWDBTV, which, by the way, stands for Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Television, and download that. And then all the plethora of shows that are available, including all the plethora of shows we have here for Kiwanis Connects and the like, and you can have some fun. 702-992-3207 is our phone number. Today's focus is going to be primarily about Hurricane Helene and the things that we can do to help those areas and just general conversation. But of course, as always, Governor Val, before I show my picture, how are you doing?
And I am awesome. And I just want to say, on October 1, I no longer have the immediate title. I am title free, basically, which is an amazing, wonderful thing on so many levels, and then scary on a bunch of other ones. But, you know, Mary and I are part of the same governor class. And as I was reading through everything, Mary, I realized why we connected as sister friends. Because your background is so similar in many ways to mine, or parallel. And so it's just absolutely fantastic. So how do you feel being 3 days out of being immediate past?
I'm not certain I'm feeling it just yet. I do have a lot more time on my hands as it relates to Kiwanis work. Well, I thought I did. And now we have this disaster. And Val, I do want to say that you and I connected immediately. You were my sister from the moment we met. And I'm so grateful. So grateful for your friendship and the opportunities that we had to meet and to connect and, you know, to be a part of the same class of governors. It was a wonderful experience.
You know, I'm sorry. I'm sitting here in greatness because, you know, we've got 2 people who were head muckety mucks here in the Kiwanis International world. And, you know, you say you don't have a title there, Governor Val. I'm still going to call you Governor Val. I just can't help it.
Oh, absolutely.
Val, my dear friend, you still do have a title. And that is, of course, co-host of Kiwanis Connects, the fastest growing and best doggone show that's out there regarding Kiwanis International and all that we have to offer around the world. So let's not forget about that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mr. Larson. Yes. Hello, Batman. Absolutely. Speaking of which, do you mind if I digress for a few seconds? Because we were talking about Hurricane Helene. I was down in Orlando because I was supposed to host a golf tournament fundraiser down there, got washed out. So on Saturday, which was the day my wife and I had to ourselves. Now, Val, you know my wife for a number of years now, and John does as well. I'm going to be married 36 years come January. I did not know that hunting for gators was something on my wife's bucket list. You knew that? Or is that yours also?
I have the same wish, and one of my best buddies, Bruce Hammett, is a gator hunter. And so we could do a girls' trip. Mary, have you done that yet with Bruce?
Please take me. I thought of Bruce immediately when he said that. Bruce
girls' road trip.
Yeah, he came to my club and brought a hide and talked about alligator hunting. You should have been there, Aaron.
Well, here's the thing. We did find a place down there. It was Gator World or something where you have the big airboats with the big fan. Never been on a boat like that. It's a 30-minute ride. Now, we didn't see any adult gators, but we saw little baby gators. And we saw a little elementary level gator because it was wrestling with a snake. So we did that down there. We were done in about an hour or so. And then we're like, well, what do we do? So somebody said, well, you need to go to Deezerland, D-E-Z-E-R. Real estate developer Michael Deezer lives in California, or lives in Florida, is about mid-80s now. He took an old mall and retrofitted it to be an indoor amusement park, indoor bowling alleys, go-karts, bumper cars. But the man owns 4,000 vehicles in an automobile collection, and he has about half of them on display in this facility. Everything, I mean, so he's got a car museum that you can spend $20 to just walk through, and they're all themed rooms, or $40 for VIP behind the scenes tour where you get to sit in 5 cars throughout the tour.
Wow.
So my wife's reading this. And so I'm just going to say this. We sat behind the van of the Scooby-Doo mobile, the Mystery Machine. We sat behind the wheel of the Ectomobile from Ghostbusters. We sat behind the wheel of the DeLorean. By the way, all these pictures will be coming. They're all on Eileen's phone, and I haven't stolen it from her to do it yet. We got behind a car of a James Bond car, got behind the wheel of a James Bond car.
Cool.
And then my wife mentioned the Batmobile. Now, if you all don't, those who may not know me, this will be a surprise, but I'm just a little bit of a Batman fan. Okay. Just as an example, here's the back of my phone. Okay. So one of the cars that we were able to see was the Batmobile. Now, you walk right in. They have a Batcave. This is a themed room. Walk right in. Right at the door is one of the cars from the TV series, Adam West's car. I nearly fainted. Then you go throughout the display. There's 2 of Michael Keaton's cars in the far back corners. The Bat boat from the full-length picture from the 1960s. In the left corner is a fake Batcave entrance with the car from the full-length movie, the Bat Cycle. And then, you can sit in the Batmobile. John, pull it up, please. Pull it up. There it is, baby. As a matter of fact, if you look to the right side of the screen, you see the right front tire of another Batmobile next to a little stand-up cutout of Adam West there. That's the Batmobile that was in the full-length movie. Now, a quick little story about the cowl. Picked up the bat phone, and I'm pushing all those buttons and I didn't want to leave the car. So I turned to Eileen, my wife, and I said, babe, I said, do me a favor. I said, it's too bad I didn't think to pack one of my cowls. Of course, who would think about that? The tour guide, Benji, big shout out to Benji at Deezerland, says, take off your hat and glasses for a moment. Okay, I take them off, put them down next to me in Robin's seat there. And from behind, because back by that other Batmobile was this cowl that you see on my head. And he says, here, put this on. I don't care what the size was, ladies and gentlemen, because I still have the red marks on my nose from trying to get that son of a gun on and off my face. That some bitch was getting on my head. Therefore, the picture is what you see there. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, dreams can come true. I now can die a happy life and know that I got to sit from the time I was 4 years old. And I said to Eileen, I said, I'm 60 now. Is it pretty stupid that a guy like me still loves Batman and fangirls about it? She looked up at me and she said, absolutely not. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there. Dreams can come true. I'm still on the high from sitting in the Batmobile. All right, get rid of that picture, John. Enough's enough. Anyway, I had to share. If I can't share that with my Kiwanis World friends, so I want to thank my good supplier out there in the home with which you are currently residing, Doc Val. My good friend, DC, we'll just leave it at that, who is my supplier, which, by the way, half of the stuff he's been kind enough to help me procure is all over my studio office here in my home. So, Douglas.
And I have one more gift that we're sending out to you. So.
Oh, you going to show me?
Maybe after the break.
Okay. All right. You want to go to break early now that I've taken up most of that first segment? Because let's do that.
Are you sure you want to do that? Because I know that there are a lot of people that have logged in that really want to talk a little bit about Mary. So, but
Yeah. Did you want to go to break first? You want to do that? Whatever you want to do.
Let's go to break first, and then we'll dive right on in.
And the rest of the show will be Mary.
Because you just want to see the present. I know it. I got it.
I do. Hurry up. Let's go to break and come back. Let's go to.
Are you feeling overwhelmed or stressed? Remember to take a moment for your mental health. At the Mental Health Moment, we believe in the power of self-care and community support. Our mission is to encourage and empower individuals across generations to prioritize their mental well-being. Our program called CARE takes you through community, awareness, resources, and education so we can support you every step of the way. Join us at the Mental Health Moment. Visit our website or follow us on social media because your mental health matters. Remember, take a moment for your mental health.
For over 100 years, the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Parade has been a New Year's Day tradition enjoyed by millions of people around the world. Over the years, Kiwanis International has been represented with beautifully decorated floats that share the Kiwanis story and mission. The Rose Float Project is organized by the California, Nevada, Hawaii District of KI and the Rose Float Club of Pasadena. But we need and rely on the support of all Kiwanians. This year's parade theme is The Best Day Ever, and the KI float will be named Being Together. Whether you are in Southern California or anywhere in the world, we invite you to be a part of this amazing experience. Join us in person to decorate the floats. Support our effort by purchasing merchandise or making donations of any size. Become a friend of the Rose Float or join the Rose Float Club. To learn more, visit us on the web, on social media, or scan this QR code.
All right.
That's one of my favorite commercials.
That's brand new. That's the first time I'm seeing it.
Very cool. Very cool. So everybody, welcome back. And I know that Aaron is flummoxed because he just saw something he hasn't seen before. We showed that commercial at a number of district conventions, and we actually got to show that at international convention. And so we're very excited. And I had promised beforehand, we have Batman socks.
Woo! All right.
Absolutely.
Nice. I'm going to have to keep away from my wife, though. She steals my socks. Excellent. Can't wait to get them. I'll need them for winter. All right. Mary Winfrey's here, past governor of Carolina District here, and she joins us from, are you, like, what effects of the hurricane do you have? Did you get a ton of rain? Where are you in relation to where all that happened, Mary?
I'm in southeastern North Carolina, 20 minutes north of the South Carolina border along I-95. We just had wind and rain for a while, but certainly the major impact of the storm headed west in the Carolinas.
All right. Gotcha. I know we had rain here in Virginia Beach while I was away. And of course, being in Orlando, I saw a ton of rain and wind down there as it was starting to go up. Devastation, to say the least. The last article that I read, and I posted it in the promo yesterday, over 200 deaths so far, with the majority of them actually being in North Carolina. Do you have any latest information I know a lot of people are still without power and things like that, I'm sure as well. What's some of the latest information about what's happening down there now?
Well, I did check the data last night in preparation for today, and you're right. It is shocking devastation. No one could have imagined what would occur following Hurricane Helene. And of course, the most heart-wrenching thing, I think, is the number of deaths and missing family members. People are searching for their family members, and waiting is probably more difficult than knowing at some point. But yeah, the death toll will increase, we're certain, as the search and rescue efforts, come to an end in the next few days or so.
It's also you're not new to these kind of disasters, because you were part of the search and rescue team, right, during Hurricane Florence, was it?
Actually, I was not a part of the search and rescue team. My son and
Recovery.
of my community were absolutely out in John boats, and as the waters rose, to bring people out of their homes to safety. I, however, during Hurricane Matthew, we had 2 historic hurricanes within 2 years here in southeastern North Carolina. And during the first hurricane, I was caring for my mother, and I was able to get her to a family member and keep her safe there. So I was out working in the shelters and doing what Kiwanians do, right? But after Florence, my mother's health had declined, and I needed to keep her home with me. So because I was home and wanting to help and brainstorming with another friend of mine who's a Kiwanian, we decided that the best thing for us to do, since we could not get into the shelters at that time, was to develop a disaster relief project. And we reached out to clubs outside of the disaster area and a few clubs right here in our area to develop that project, and really felt that we made a significant impact for the families that were able to receive our goods. But no, we were not surprised by a hurricane. You know, we have them here quite frequently. Sometimes they're damaging and sometimes not so much. But we need to evacuate and how to prepare for the storms. I think that, however, for what has happened in Western North Carolina and in South Carolina, there was no way people could prepare for what has occurred there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So did we have Kiwanians that are impacted? Any Kiwanis clubs that are there that we should be reaching out to?
Absolutely. There are about 30 clubs along the path of Helene that have been impacted, and about 1,000 members. And of course, it's far-reaching, obviously, and the damage far worse than anybody ever could imagine. It's mind-boggling, in fact. We've been very, very concerned. I can tell you from the moment I knew what was happening with the hurricane as it approached Florida, I really began to think about those members that have now become family. Kiwanis is a family. We certainly feel this strong bond and connection. And I thought about all those people, and I'm certain for you, Val, you thought about Sharon in Florida, and Daryl and
Georgia,
and Katrina Bronco, our immediate Kiwanis International president, and all of our friends along the way. And of course, as the storm got closer to the Carolinas district, I began to think about people here in my Kiwanis family. You know, was probably some of my best memories as governor were visiting those clubs to the west that I don't get to see as often since I'm on the East Coast. And, you know, I thought about Mary Jo Brubaker, a mutual friend of ours who chairs the Woolly Worm Festival up in Banner Elk. Listen, Aaron, 20,000 people come to Banner Elk, a small mountain town, to see little woolly worms race on a string to predict the winter weather. It's a delightful, exciting thing, and it is sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Banner Elk.
Is that your version of Is that your version of Punxsutawney Phil?
Oh, it's a million times better than that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's even a mascot that looks like a woolly worm that walks around and takes pictures.
And the doctors check the health of the woolly worms, and they engage children to collect the woolly worms and pay them for the worms. And of course, they raise a lot of money for service to their community through that event. You know, and I thought about other clubs that I visited. The Kiwanis Club of Black Mountain, you probably saw them on the news, the entire town flooded. Such wonderful, caring Kiwanians. They have a thrift store there, and the thrift store has now been destroyed. So many people that I consider friends and family along the path that I could not stop thinking about and have not stopped thinking about. I spoke to Leah Moretz today briefly until the phone service went out and we couldn't talk any longer. We were able to text. They're accustomed to being without power. because of the snowstorms that they have there. But what they're experiencing is extreme in comparison to what is the norm for them. Leah does have her home intact. They now have a generator and they're trying to figure out how to survive this. But the real impact is, what occurred by the power of flooding water and the unexpected mudslides and homes falling right into the water and being rushed away and destroyed, and cars and livelihoods. And we've just been heartbroken about it all.
Mary, it's brought back a lot of PTSD for me, because that I experienced 2 sets of floods in 22 and 23, where our roads were washed out, and so we were evacuated from March to December in 23. And it's the aftermath that's actually worse than the actual flood. And so I know, Aaron, you're over on that end where you guys get a lot of rain. We don't get a lot of rain out where I am. So,
well, this transition, I've seen more rain in the 3.5 months I left Vegas than I think I did in 27 years of living in Vegas since I've been out here. I want to ask this question, though. I shared this story before I went on the air. With the property I was at in Orlando, we met a couple, mom, dad, a daughter. They had 2 pets, and they were just evacuated from their home. They were told to evacuate. They had just gotten the deed on their house literally 2 weeks ago, prior to the previous house being destroyed from a previous storm. But my question is, there was some news down in the Florida area that people were ignoring evacuation urgent suggestions. What's the take on, how do people in the North Carolina area take these things about an evac? So you take them seriously? Did people not do them at all? Should they have? I mean, give me your take on preparation.
No, Aaron, I think most people take it very seriously. We do have some rebels here, and some people will wait out the storm no matter what Ed Petrowski says. He's a meteorologist that we follow. Some people are just going to stay. They're going to stay with their home and their belongings and their dogs. But most people adhere and make proper preparation and evacuate when necessary.
Okay. It was just interesting because the reports kept coming in that people were just like, oh, it's just another storm. I don't need to go. Now, maybe in Orlando where we were, because when you watch the tracking, we were on the east side of where the storm was tracking. And so maybe people in our area didn't feel the need to really fully follow it. But with the way and it changed, because didn't the original path was supposed to make that left up into the Gulf and stay up there? And then all of a sudden it decided to straighten out and go up into the Carolinas. I mean, that seemed to have been a last minute change in the path.
Well, there were a couple of models. We never really know where a storm's going to go. And there are various scenarios that we have to watch. But I think the lesson here that we learned in my area is that if the ground is already saturated, when a hurricane shows up with even more water, we can expect more flooding, more widespread flooding, more widespread damage. The ground's wet, the trees are going to fall. And, I can tell you for myself that if I had heard years ago that this hurricane was going to be a tropical storm when it got to my house, I would not have been as concerned. But what I have learned is these things can be very unpredictable. And regardless of what your thoughts might be or what you perceive from the reports, the best thing to do is to be prepared for the worst case scenario. And again, I have to say, I just don't think there was any way to prepare for what has happened in Western North Carolina. How do you prepare for that? Who would have imagined the mudslides and the landslides and the amount of flooding and how the water forged its way into places water wasn't supposed to be?
I love what you just said, because, I hearken back to 9/11, and I remember the look on President Bush's face when the agent was in his ear in the middle of the classroom. I'm sure nowhere in the standard operating procedure manual of being a president, gives you outlines on how to handle that. Well, when you have a storm of any magnitude, so we're going to use Helene as the latest example here. I can't imagine, although storms reoccur, you would think FEMA and those organizations would kind of be better at what they do, but sometimes storms and changes, like you talked about, happen in a minute's, in an instant. Sometimes you just can't prepare for these things because we don't know what's going to, if we all had a magic 8-ball, it'd be great, right? We would know what to do to prepare. But when we're caught off guard and people start pointing fingers, this could have been better, that could have been better, you should have done this. You know what? That's just not right, because how do you prepare for something you don't know that's coming?
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
what do I know? They didn't ask me.
Absolutely.
I missed that memo.
And now is not the time to be pointing fingers.
Right.
Now is time to do the next right thing. The next right thing is, how do we, who are all helpers around the world, help in a way that's meaningful? How do we help in a way that actually gets to the people that are there? Because there are all these agencies and all these GoFundMe sites and all these things that are popping up, and you never know which ones are phony and which ones are truly humanitarian. And I will say this out loud, and I may get a ding from somebody. For me, Red Cross means giving blood. It doesn't mean giving money, unless you're very, very specific about how your money is being designated. And so if people are going out and they're giving money to Red Cross to help you all, then they need to be very specific in the comment section that says that it is going to Eastern Carolina's Helene Fund Recovery Fund. Because if they say it's just going to the Carolinas, it goes to every disaster fund. It gets divided up amongst all your counties. And so say your county wasn't affected, you're still going to get your percentage, and it doesn't help the people on the ground.
That's right. I want to speak to recovery support. I think there are different phases of recovery support. There is immediate response supplies that are needed. Right now, today, what do people need? The very basic of things: shelter, right? There are shelters being opened and churches and various places that are setting up shelter for people who've been displaced. But they need food and water and medication. They need a toothbrush and toothpaste, the very basic of things, a change of clothes, and children need shoes, and children need a teddy bear. Children need something to provide them comfort. And those are the immediate response type things that can be provided. But as time goes on, and families are returning to their home, they're going to need cleaning supplies and tools to tear out that wet sheetrock and to clean the mud out of their homes and to begin that recovery process. And recovery is not something that happens overnight, and it doesn't happen in 6 months. We had 2 historic hurricanes here years ago now, and we are still seeing the effect of those hurricanes in our community. There's a lack of housing. We do not have adequate housing here. And that will be the case in Western North Carolina for quite some time. I think the thing to think about as it relates to making donations, financial and otherwise, is to ensure that those donations are going to a reputable organization that you're familiar with. And we know that there are individuals and groups who are going to, unfortunately, take advantage of the situation. And it's sad, angers me. However, we have to do our homework, and we have to understand. I can tell you that I love and trust Kiwanis. I trust the Kiwanis family. And I believe if you're going to give, if you're a Kiwanian and you're going to give, that choosing one of the foundations in the disaster area is important. I mentioned how concerned I was about my friends and the Kiwanians in my life, really. As it made an impact, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only person that didn't sleep all night as we became more aware of what was happening. And members in leadership in the Carolinas district began to make calls to check on our family members, our Kiwanis family members, to make sure that they were okay and to find out what we can do. And the next thing that took place is that our Carolinas District Kiwanis Foundation met to decide how that portion of our family could make a difference. And they have allotted $20,000 for disaster relief matching funds in hopes that we can turn $20,000 into $40,000. I can tell you that the disaster relief project that I led was the result of funds that we initially began raising from KI and Carolinas District. And even in that storm, people wanted to help. People around the world wanted to help. And I've been hearing from our friends, Val, around the world that are concerned about what's happening here. So the Carolinas District Children's Foundation is accepting funds. You can learn more about it on the Carolinas District website. There is an address there to mail checks that are noted for the disaster. As you mentioned, that's an important piece of making a donation. And there is a PayPal link there to which funds could be paid. We want to make
Can you read out that address for us?
It's carolinasquiwanis.org. I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
It could be Googled Carolinas Kiwanis District as well. But there's an article right on the front page of the website, and the link to the PayPal is there. We know that as clubs begin to organize again, that they're going to want funds so that they can address the issues within their communities, and we want to ensure that those monies are available to them. I suspect, based on a phone call I got last night, that we will absolutely raise that money. I hope and pray that we will exceed those funds, because I believe more than $40,000 is going to be needed to really make an impact given the conditions in Western North Carolina.
Yeah, I absolutely. Now, are there any specific, clubs that you know of doing anything in particular, or someone like in another part of the country who wants to ship supplies to a Kiwanis club? Do we have any clubs that are accepting donations to then be forwarded there in Carolina? Are you aware of any of that happening?
I spoke with the president of my club, who's speaking with other members of the Robinson Lumberton Club that I'm a member of. And we are bouncing around ideas around how we can help and how we can engage our key clubs here so that those children have an opportunity to make a difference for other children. I would be happy to receive items, and I can provide that information to you later if you'd like me to do that so it can be dispersed.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't be the first time that my dining room turned into a Kiwanis warehouse. And I'm certain that other clubs are beginning to have those conversations so that we can make an impact.
So let me share this with everybody real quickly. On Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, if you search for Carolinas District of Kiwanis, that is your Facebook page. You can like it. When you get onto that page on the left-hand side where it has the intro information, you will see a web link, carolinakiwanis.org. That is the website that will take you to their page via the KI site. And as Mary mentioned, right about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see a black bar right across the middle there that says Carolinas District of Kiwanis Foundation, PayPal link for disaster relief. So the best place and easiest place, like I said, just go to Facebook. It is Carolinas District of Kiwanis. Click on the link on the left-hand side in the intro box, and it'll take you right to where you need to be. Or it looks like right there on your Facebook page as well, the information and the link. You don't even have to click on the link on the left. Just stay right there on the post that was put out there 15 hours ago and everything there that you need. Or you can also mail a check to Jason Poole, who's the treasurer of the Carolinas District Kiwanis Foundation. That information is there as well. So that is right there on the Facebook page. That's probably the best and easiest place to find it.
So two things that I wanted to share as well. We have a couple of owners of shipping companies that are Kiwanians out here. And I want to do a shout out to Robert Huntsman in North Modesto. North Modesto Club does a American Graffiti car show. And his very first response when we put this information out was, if we need large scale shipping to go to the Carolinas, then he will make sure that that happens. And so what I would love to be able to offer to you is, because I know people, they want to give, but oftentimes at this part in the year, we don't have a lot of finances, but we have quality things. And so we would restock, as a district, we would help restock the thrift store for the Kiwanis Club that lost one of the largest Kiwanis thrift stores. If
Wow.
we could get 2 shipping containers or whatever, and be able to work with them directly. So the Kiwanis Connects and the class of 22, 23 lieutenant governors, we would work together to partner. I think that those kind of things where we can tangibly help in a way, those kind of ideas, do you think they would be receptive to that, or is it too soon?
It's too soon.
Okay.
The entire town was flooded.
Yes.
What's in the store has to be removed. The store has to be remediated. They have to remove
Mhm.
the moisture and the mold, and all that is already growing. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be some time. What I do think is a great idea is that as we begin to identify ways that we can help, is that we work collaboratively.
Yes.
Which is what we did here in the Carolinas following Hurricane Florence, is we reached out to those clubs outside of the district, the disaster area within our district, and they were able to do things that we could not do as quickly here
Mhm.
because we're affected. For instance, they worked with their key clubs and did some fundraising and got some donations, and the key clubbers made no-sew blankets. Uh, and those were probably one of the favorite things that we gave the children. And I want to share a story about making those donations to the children. Uh, the New York District of Kiwanis are rock stars when it comes
Yes.
to disaster relief. And I understand that they are preparing to bring supplies into North Carolina. I heard that yesterday. And they did the same thing when we had disaster relief here, and came and spent about 48 hours with us here. And it was just an amazing, very emotional experience. But while they were here, we did deliver some boxes of supplies to the children and a couple of the schools whose parents allowed us to do that. The children got basic things: food, soap and toothpaste and toothbrushes. Each child got a couple changes of clothes and undergarments. And the only fun thing really in the box was a puzzle. And they received those blankets. And they each got a coat because it was cold.
Mhm.
And the children were overwhelmed with excitement when they received that box of goods. And some of the children shared their stories of being in hotels and that. Listen, I can barely talk about it without crying, even to this day, Val. It was such a heartwarming experience to know that so many people cared and they wanted to make a difference. And my new family up in New York came down, and it was just an overwhelming experience. And it was really just topped off by those children that day.
I don't know if you guys saw the comment that Kathy Zemansky posted. She would like to know, she says that their local key clubbers are going to collect items, and her and her husband have a way to get them to the Carolinas. They have heard about dog food, diapers, and water. Do you know anything else specifically? I know you mentioned clothes and jackets perhaps, but what else can come to mind that people can think about?
I think very soon jackets are going to be needed. And Kathy, as it relates to what you've mentioned here, if you're going to change your baby's diaper, you need some wipes and hand sanitizer. So those are a couple of important things to add. It might also be important to throw in some onesies, the very basic of things. I was reminded by a
And
member of
female sanitary. Okay.
exactly where I was going. I was reminded by a member of the Asheville Kiwanis Club who works with homeless children when she made her way from Marion down to Asheville to work this week, that is something that is very much needed. And as we're thinking about children, think about how important that is to teenage girls.
Mhm.
And I thought that was a very good point.
What I'd like to do at this point, Val, we're at about 20 of the hour. Let's step aside for our last break of the show. We have a lot to do in the last segment. We want to get as much information as we can about the support. Do we have a Kiwanis Wow segment? I'm sure you have stuff planned. Yes, Val?
Yeah.
Is Kiwanis on the road or Val on the road in the garage for temporary time now?
Temporary time. Let's keep it parked.
All right, we're going to keep that parked. Bad dad jokes. I want to thank everybody for supplying numbers for me, and I'll explain why I asked for those numbers later on. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. Today's all about helping those in need after Hurricane Helene with Mary from the Carolinas District. Hey, we'll be right back.
At Kiwanis Family House, we build communities and give hope. But when someone is sick, families can be tested in ways they never imagined. Parents have to travel far from home to get their child the complex medical care needed. They may have to miss work and worry about paying the bills, and all the while, trying to keep their family together. That's where Kiwanis Family House comes in. Kiwanis Family House provides a home away from home for families with sick family members receiving treatment at nearby hospitals. Families stay at Kiwanis Family House for as long as they need. This allows them to be close to their sick family member and each other during a stressful time. Every day, Kiwanis Family House witnesses how families are a powerful source of support and healing during difficult times due to illness or trauma. Every day, Kiwanis Family House celebrates the importance of family and the power of love and support. Are you feeling overwhelmed or stressed? Remember to take a moment for your mental health. At the Mental Health Moment, we believe in the power of self-care and community support. Our mission is to encourage and empower individuals across generations to prioritize their mental well-being. Our program called CARE takes you through community, awareness, resources, and education so we can support you every step of the way. Join us at the Mental Health Moment. Visit our website or follow us on social media because your mental health matters. Remember, take a moment for your mental health.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. Well, I didn't realize my fingers can type as fast as they just did. Val, I just sent you that message with like 1 second to spare before the camera came back up. Holy shamoles. My typing teacher in high school would be so proud of me getting it in under the wire there. Hey, before we get back to Mary and talking about what we can do, we have a couple of things we want to talk about. First of all, you got some sidewalk sweepstakes thingy going on there, Doc Val. That's why you're shot up there somewhere in California. Why don't you talk about that?
There are so many fun things going on right now. And so what we're doing out here is we're doing at the Literacy Club Foundation, which provides books to kids around the world. We've already provided over 500,000 books to kiddos that need them. And we're going to talk with our board a little bit later about how we can help supply free books to kids, because I think if they had a blanket and a book and something special from maybe Warner Brothers or Universal Studios, that might be a comfort for them. And so we're going to have that conversation. And that sweepstakes, I'm not sure if you're able to show the card because I can't see my screen right now. Does
John have the card?
I believe that John has it, but if you go to the promo and put Val or Valerie, VALARIE, you get 20% more opportunities to win the villa in one of the Disney resorts. And all the proceeds that we have for our part of the process go back to providing books for kids in disaster areas and districts around the world. And so that's what's going on with that. And if you're in the LA area, can you please come over to our sidewalk sale, buy some costumes, and so that we can make a financial gift to the folks in the Carolinas. So thanks, Aaron, for reminding me of that.
Yeah, hey, no worries. That's what we're here for. By the way, I know it's a couple days late, but to all my friends and family out there in Vegas, 1 October, the anniversary of the mass shooting out at the country music event years ago. 1 October passed, but everybody out there will never be forgotten. So my thoughts and comments and prayers and good feelings. And a special shout out to a friend of mine in Denver, Steve Maniotis. Is a friend of Rick Upchurch's and mine through something else that he and I do. His mom passed away this past week, and his wife succumbed to cancer 10 days ago. So, Steve, we're keeping our thoughts and prayers with you as well. Last but not least, to everybody that's watching this show right now who's affected or knows somebody regarding Hurricane Helene, I want to remind you, the mental health moment. We ran 2 commercials so far today. We had Melissa on the air with us last week as we wrapped up Mental Health Month for September. Please check it out, thementalhealthmoment.org. If you are in any scenario, it doesn't have to just be around the hurricane effects, but if you need support, need an outside source, go to check it out, thementalhealthmoment.org. Reach out to Melissa and her team. They will be there to help support you get through this time, or any time that you need to. Please reach out to her. Again, thementalhealthmoment.org, and tell her Kiwanis Connects sent you. All right. Let's get back to Mary. Val, go ahead.
So Mary, it's like, you are so amazing, and you've wrapped your arms around all of this, and you've opened your house to us being able to stuff it chock full of stuff. So when are you going to come out and visit with us?
Well, first, let me say thank you for that. I don't see me the way you say that. I just think we have a duty and a responsibility to positively impact lives. I think that's why we were created. That's what we're here to do, right? And these opportunities continue to present themselves. They're never so far away. So this is just another one of those opportunities to make a difference in the lives of people. And I want to come visit you. I want to. I was so jealous of the Rose Bowl parade that I couldn't be there, by the way.
You can come this year.
Let's talk about it.
Absolutely.
Much fun. And I know it is. I know it is. And I know a lot of work goes into that. And it's fun to see the parade and wait and hope to see our float on the air. So keep it up. I love it. I love what you're doing. And I just want to say for a moment that I love that you're making mental health a part of this show. My theme as governor was creating hope through service. Coming out of the pandemic, I felt like we needed hope. And we highlighted mental health in ways that we could make a difference for our children and for others as it relates to that. And here we are again with another opportunity to make a difference in the well-being and the emotional and mental well-being. And we know that this has been made a huge impact for those people in the disaster area, and for people like you and me who aren't in the disaster area, but that PTSD is coming up and making us very emotional and bringing back a lot of those experiences that we had. Thank you for making mental health awareness a part of this.
Absolutely. For sure. All right. So again, folks, go out onto Facebook. You can go on to their Facebook page. You can find them out there, the Carolinas District. On Facebook, just right there on the main post, you see all the information about helping out and donation specific needs. Right, we have the crawl going across the bottom, Carolinas District Kiwanis. John, the second link doesn't have the stuff after the district. After that, there you go. Thank you, sir. That'll get you to where you need to go to make your contribution. Just check in. If you know somebody in the area, just check in with them and make sure that everybody is doing fine. By the way, I want to thank everybody submitting for their 6 numbers. I will explain that in a few minutes as to why I was asking for numbers. Doc Val, we're about 10 minutes. We're not totally done with Mary yet. We'll circle out and we'll close that out with Mary last. But before we get to that, are you ready for some club wow moments, perhaps?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
John, hit it.
I love that. It makes me feel like Wonder Woman, you know? for most people around the world, you think of California and you think that you can go from San Francisco to Disneyland in the same day and do the Golden Gate Bridge, walk across, and then meet Mickey Mouse for dinner. But the reality is it's a 4 to 5 hour drive from my home to northern LA. And it's another 3 hours sometimes for me to get to San Diego. But I've made that trip twice in the past 7 days. And the reason is because the Diamond Bar Kiwanis Club needs to be commended for their amazing STEAM show. They actually won one of the Signature Project Awards at Kiwanis International last year. And it was even bigger this year. They had robotics like I've never seen before, done by high school and middle school students. It looked like a show on BattleBots. I mean, they were so amazingly put together. Kids were coding with Legos in a Lego center. There was all kinds of art. And so it's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And they did a phenomenal job. And the Teacher of the Year, because I did the Science STEAM Teacher of the Year Awards, and the mayor came out and did proclamations, she actually won the 3D printer as the door prize. So it was just kismet. And it made me go, wow, look at what a Kiwanis Club has done for a community. And now that there are other school districts that want to repeat this, but they say, we have to have Kiwanis to do this, right? And my answer is, yeah, you need us. So that's my wow moment.
Absolutely. That's tremendous. That lends itself to a legacy kind of thing right there. Kiwanis is connected to that kind of event.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's great. That is absolutely wonderful. All right. What do we got? About 7 minutes left. So what I want to do, let's wrap up with Mary, and then we'll get to the part that Andy loves, and that's my bad dad jokes. So Mary, because you always like to end the show with not that we don't laugh throughout the show, but today's topic, of course, was not one that lends itself to a lot of levity. So we always like to make sure we end the show with a little laughter at the end. So we'll do that afterwards. So Mary, let's kind of wrap this up. Refresh, if you will, needs, donations, support. Let's wrap it up for everybody. Let's have everybody remember what we need to do to support each other.
Right now, we need basic supplies. The basics needed in life: water, food, cleaning supplies, clothing, the very basic of things. And going into the future, I want you to think about the other things that may be needed. And the best way that we believe that you can help us at this time is to make that donation to the Carolinas District Foundation, so that we can distribute those funds to the communities that so desperately need it at this time. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the opportunity to be here, to talk about what's happening in our extended community within the Kiwanis family, and appreciate that Kiwanians around the world are paying attention, and that Kiwanis Heart for Service is showing up, and we know that you're going to help us make a difference in the lives of so many people. Can't thank you enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know, Ann, yeah, absolutely. You know, Mary, listen, want to give you all positive support and thoughts and positive vibes your way so that you can share them out to those who need it. Because you yourself is, listening to you speak, you're getting emotional behind sharing your stories. So it's taking a toll on you as you're right now the face and spokesperson for support in the area through Kiwanis. And everybody needs to make sure we keep Mary in our minds and send her the positive strength and vibes so that she can do what she's doing and keeping everybody straight and forward. So thank you, Mary, for making time today. I still believe you're related to Oprah. You really need to do one of those gene tests.
Well, I'm not, but those in-laws may be.
Oh, okay. See, there you go. There you go.
They may be.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'd give Oprah a great big hug if she were here, actually.
Well,
absolutely.
Right now, Mary, for what you are doing, you have the appropriate last name. You are our Oprah right now for supporting everybody in that area. So on behalf of everybody, the Kiwanis and otherwise, thank you for stepping up and being the director, so to speak, and face of what we need to do. All right, with that, I know Andy's checking out. Andy checked in. He says he's waiting for the upbeat part of the show. Well, when that happens, we'll let him know. The reason I was asking for the numbers is because, ladies and gentlemen, I have this week's book of jokes, which has almost 300 pages in it for you to go through. So y'all were kind enough to give me some page numbers. And on each page, there are 2 jokes. So I got 6 numbers. You're going to get a dozen jokes today because on it. That's what because I really threw some bad ones last week and they were quick. So here we go. Somebody gave me the number of 125. That was. Here's your 2 jokes. Why did the scientist start a church? He was great at conversions.
That's a bad
I didn't say they were good jokes. I just said they were jokes. The second joke on that page. Why did the seismograph quit his job?
Hmm.
He wasn't ready for that magnitude. That's why. It's too much for him to bear. That is why. Yes, I got Val going already, which is good on the second joke. I love it. All right, here's the next number. Somebody gave me 117. Why was the poker player arrested? He started dealing. All right, there you go. That's the drug-infested neighborhoods there. We appreciate that. We are an equal opportunity offender in the jokes today, apparently. Absolutely. The next person gave me 145. Why couldn't the zombie email his resume? Oh, my God.
Oh, it's cracking you up. Oh, my goodness.
It was too many megabytes. That is why he couldn't send his resume. All right, listen, I only read them, folks. Somebody gave me number 55. That's right. Who gave me 5? I don't remember.
Number, Kathy.
What's that?
That was the number I wanted to give, and I see that Kathy gave it.
Oh, 55?
Great. Listen, great minds think alike. Let's hear it.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you 54 and 55 then. Did you hear about the comedy night at the bar? It was a real brouhaha. Comedy bar brouhaha. Sorry. I guess I was better off saying with 55. All right, here you go. Did you hear about the building painted by amino acids? They're calling it the Sistine Chapel. All right, I hated that one. That sucked. Anyway, number 175. I got one more number after this. Why was the vampire grumpy? Come on now, think about it. Right in time for Halloween. It's a great joke for Halloween. Because he had a bat attitude. All right, and the last page. I know, that sucked. I know. Mary's like, don't ever ask.
I liked it.
Mary had an agent.
Part of the show.
If Mary had an agent, she'd be firing her agent saying, I'm never going on that show again with those jokes. Last but not least, page 244, 2 for the price of 1. What is Peter Pan's favorite restaurant? Come on, people. Wendy's. Come on now. Last but not least, Wendy's, Peter Pan. Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Are there crickets? Where are the crickets? Crickets. Last one. Thank God. What did the 3 little pigs say when they quit their job? That is the last straw. Okay. With that.
Oh my goodness. Really?
Good place to end it.
Just remember, I just read them, ladies and gentlemen. I don't write them. Okay? Tip your waiters and waitresses on your way out. Okay, that's why I have no guests in my house, because they'd come find those books and burn them, and then I have no bad dad jokes. So anyway, all right. I hope at least one of them gave you a smile on the way out today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Mary, once again, thank you. We need some mom jokes. All right, Kathy, you're now in charge of my mom jokes. You are now the committee chair for mom jokes. Send them to me each week, or maybe you'll just have to join us every week and give us mom jokes. All right. Mary, thank you again for taking time with us today. If one of those put a smile on your face to ease the day for you, then it was worth it. So
thank you so much. Thank you. I'm thrilled.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy to see you, Val.
I'm happy to see you too.
Anytime you want to come back on, give us some updates about what's happening, we'd love to hear them. Doc, Val, as always, final thoughts from you, my friend.
You know, I started on October 1, which is Happy Kiwanis New Year. I started mental health moments. Every day I post a new mental health moment for people to think about. And as we're going through all of this, realize that everybody's going through something. And so we all need to be kind with each other. And I know that fits in with your theme. And I am thrilled to know that there are so many Kiwanians around the world that are doing amazing things. And each one of us has the potential to do just a little bit to make a difference. So thank you, Mary. And Aaron, it's all yours.
All righty. Hey, John, if you're still there, do you remember your bad dad joke you gave me before we went on the air that you wanted to share?
No.
Okay, good. All right, everybody. With that, as always, as I like to say, be kind to everybody. Why? We are all we have. Don't forget to join me tomorrow, Aaron's Hour, 11 a.m. East, 8 a.m. Pacific. Sam Kirby, he's a real estate agent back there in Vegas from eXp Realty. We're going to talk about real estate trends in Las Vegas. With that, I now call this show, we are done. See you next week on Kiwanis Connects.
Bye, everybody.